Hey there, and welcome back to Mass Effect 3. My name is Pete, and today we complete another episode of our Insanity walkthrough, and we continue right where we left off last time after over 1 hour of conversations and shenanigans with our crew.
You have received a new message.
We had some private moments, but also some fun out on the Silversun strip, and we are definitely nowhere near done with all of it yet. And so, coming fresh from a conversation with our pilot Joker, we now head back to the apartment, where we have yet another bunch of messages waiting for us. First of all, it's Jacob inviting us out to the arcade, so looks like our former squad member has gotten wind of our shore leave too. Then we have an interesting message from a CSEC officer, who is requesting our help with Grunt, who has apparently been involved in an incident. We also have Kolyat, the son of Thane Krios, reach out to us. He wants to hold a memorial service for his father and hopes that the people of the Normandy will attend. Finally then we have Kaidan inviting us out for something to eat, and that is actually what we will start with. Again, you can see it here, we can also still invite Tali, but like I said last time, we're going to do that at the end of all of this.
Hey Shepard, I'm starving. What do you got?
We're heading out, Kaidan.
I'm so tired of Apollos. I'm gonna cook.
Oh, no. Really?
Come on.
You want me to sit there and watch you cook?
You're not watching me cook, you're helping me drink beer. Now sit your ass down.
What are we having? Canadian delicacy of some sort?
Sure. Exactly. We have, beef, we have bacon, we have beer. The foods of my people. Wish me luck.
Now, as always, no morality points are awarded in these conversations, and with both of these options here leading to some minor teasing anyway, I think it really doesn't matter which one we pick, so let's go with the one at the top.
If you need luck to cook us dinner, we're screwed.
Screwed? Oh, you hurt me, Shepard. Relax. It's gonna be great.
Guess we'll find out. So, remember how I saved the Citadel? And then, well, you weren't there. I survived a suicide mission? All these close calls I've had, only to be taken out by dinner. Can it at least be quick and painless?
Funny. You think I hauled your butt out of the fire all those times just to poison you here now?
I just took down my clone. I gotta figure anything's possible.
Huh.
Do we have hot sauce?
That was great.
Still waiting for the botulism to kick in.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
And let's end this on a positive note, no need to call him overly sensitive I think, and after all he did do a nice thing for us.
Actually, it was pretty good. I'm impressed.
Thank you. I'm an enigma. I've got skills. I mean, for example, fist fight, me and James, I'd win, right? What if I fought dirty?
Alright, one down and many more still to come. Up next, the mood will shift to something a bit more heavy. Let us invite Kolyat next to have the memorial service for Thane, which will then actually take place right here in the apartment. And it is an absolutely lovely send-off for Thane's character that I honestly believe should have been included in the base game.
We are gathered here to honor the life of Thane Krios. Thane touched each of our lives in different ways. The Counselor knew him as a hero. The Normandy's crew knew him as a brother in arms, and others as a father, devoted to his son.
And while Thane did in fact build his life around being an assassin, let us focus on his final days where he attempted to be much more than that, and his son holding this memorial service here is a good sign that Thane was able to at least somewhat redeem himself.
Though his life took him to very dark places, Thane cared for the better angels of our nature. Even when he was terminally ill, he ran through worn-torn streets to reach me because he knew I needed help. You all know the results of that day. An assassin, a professional criminal, gave his life for his galaxy. and now he can rest. Would anyone else like to speak?
What I remember about Thane was his confidence. He told me once about how he remembered everything, even every mistake he made. If I did that, I'd be a nervous wreck. Thane kept it under control.
It's strange, but the last word I'd label Thane with is assassin. And we covered each other in firefights. That makes him a partner.
Thane's last stand was important. But let us also remember why Thane left the Normandy. To keep his son away from a life of crime. Deeds such as these do not go unnoticed by the universe. They echo in all who hear them. That is why I am here.
Thane took himself seriously, a trait with which I did not always agree. I tried to make him laugh on several occasions. But what I interpreted as a lack of humor was masking a great effort. Thane was turning his life around, in a way few organics do.
The day Thane came onto the Normandy, all Kelly and I knew about him was that he could probably kill us all with a ballpoint pen. But after you got to know him, there wasn't any reason to be afraid. He let you know where you stood. Kolyat, do you,
When I was little, I thought my father had it all figured out. He said men must be loyal to their friends and dangerous to their enemies. But when he prevented me from hurting someone, he had changed. He said enemies and ego are not as important as loved ones. I didn't want to hear it. I was lost. I called him a hypocrite in 1,000 different ways. Said that he was going soft. Now, I think maybe he did have it all figured out. That's all I can say. If anyone would like to continue, we'll be here.
Looks like people are starting to clear out.
Commander, thank you for holding this event. In time, it will be a good memory.
And again, I don't feel like the option at the bottom here feels appropriate for what we just went through, so let's stick with these somber emotions just a little while longer and go with the one at the top instead.
I don't know if I'll be as philosophical about it. It's still kind of raw.
I understand. If you will excuse me, I should take this opportunity to speak with the counselor.
But what?
He is feeling grateful, and I want to point out there are some Solarian biologists who need funding. If anyone would be able to create a breakthrough in the treatment of Keppel's syndrome, it would be them.
And I think one would have to agree this is about as good a time as any, so let's offer our help, that is if Kolyat wants it.
If you need someone to hold the counselor's feet to a fire, I'm there.
I appreciate the offer, but Counselor Varren has recently orated about funding science during wartime. My odds are good. Oh, before I go, I was organizing my father's possessions, and I came upon copies of video messages he tried to send you. I sent them to your extranet address. I hope they help more than they hurt. Until we meet again, Commander.
Alright, now very importantly, at this point you can run into a bug when saving and reloading the game. If you do, there is a slight chance of you no longer being able to interact with the video terminal, in which case you would then have to sit through the memorial service again. So don't make that mistake and instead watch them immediately. Just like the actual memorial service earlier, they are very much worth it. As you can see, Thane has recorded 3 messages for us, so let's go through all of them, one after another.
Shepard, I suppose I should thank you for my freedom. Leaving the Normandy was the right decision. It was saddening to see our crew go their separate ways, but it is better than answering questions in an Alliance interrogation room. I hope this message finds you well. As for me, I have moved into an apartment on the Citadel not far from Kolyat. I think the first attack I had frightened him. I will spare you the details. It seemed very dramatic at the time, but in comparison to the Omega Relay, it was a child's game. In any case, good luck getting the Alliance to listen to you. Let's keep in touch. Shepard, if you sent a message back, I didn't get it. I suppose communications from someone of my reputation would be restricted. The irony is, I am a danger to no one these days. I am even paying taxes on my investments. I can't expect Kolyat to do so if I don't. He is doing better. He has no significant other, and he is temperamental. But he is employed and staying out of crime. I can tell he is serious about changing. It has cost him more than a few friends. Send something back if you can, Shepard. I can only learn so much from news reports about you. I have tried a false identity to try to get this message through to you. We'll see if it works. I have good news and bad. The good news is that Kolyat and I took a few days to visit Earth. Like the shade of her eyes. Shrill sound of chirping stops. I scan the ground. See two tiny bodies locked by claws. Excuse me. As I was saying, we saw a beautiful sunset in New Mexico, and a scorpion eating a cricket. I wish you could have joined us. The bad news is, I fainted and struck my head. Kolyat has convinced me to stay at Huerta Memorial on the Citadel. I will be there from now on. I still don't want to die in a hospital, but it's where the doctors are. And Kolyat. I love him. That means I must trust him. Goodbye, Shepard. Let me say that now, in case I cannot later.
Right, so in my opinion, these messages actually only add to the heartbreak of Thane's death, as he seemingly tried to get in touch with us when he was still alive and was unsuccessful. Perhaps someone did in fact prevent these messages from ever reaching us, but it definitely seemed to bother him that he did not get a response, and unfortunately now it's a tiny bit too late for that. Either way, I think it's high time for something that will lift our spirits, so let's head on to the Silversun strip once more. Although I'm not entirely sure whether or not our next activity here will in fact be a mood raiser, as we have a CSEC officer to talk to regarding our former Krogan ally Grunt.
Officer, someone requested my presence concerning an incident with the Krogan.
Right this way, Commander.
So, Grunt, anything you want to tell me about?
This clown wants to take me to lockup. Figured I'd give you a call, straighten this out.
Commander Shepard, I apologize for the intrusion. This Krogan insisted we contact you.
It's okay. I'll vouch for him. I'll sign any paperwork you have, officer.
Yes, sir.
What happened?
I don't know. Drank a bit, left the hospital, broke a few windows.
But you were in that hospital recovering from the Rachni encounter.
Yeah, didn't feel like sticking around.
Most people stick around long enough to, heal.
Most people aren't me.
And why is CSEC here?
Guess they're precious about some broken glass.
And since Grunt seems to be okay, the guy is indestructible anyway, it might be wise to ask if anybody else got hurt, just to assess the potential damages we might have to cover.
Before I sign you out, everybody walked away from this in one piece, right?
Sure, yeah, everybody's fine. Hospital's seen better days, though.
Right. Tell me about the windows.
A couple of squad mates broke me out for my birthday. Tried lowering me down the side of the building on a rope. It didn't work out.
It's your birthday?
No, I'm tank bred, remember? Anyway, we got some pictures on the Krogan Memorial.
In the Presidium?
Yeah, when CSEC got there, they were mad. Or maybe they were mad about their car being on fire. Can't remember.
Why was it on fire?
I threw my bottle of ring call at it. Pretty strong stuff. It went up like a bonfire. The CSEC guys jumped out. Then I figured they didn't want it, so I took it. We didn't get very far before they shut us down. Sprayed us down with riot foam. Didn't work so well on me.
And why's that?
'Cause I was on fire. You know, from the car. Come on, Shepard, keep up.
Right. Sorry. So how did they catch you?
Got hungry. Bought some noodles.
Right, so now this time we'll actually go with the fabricate a story option. Ultimately, as always, both options here will lead to the same outcome, but this here is by far the more entertaining one.
Let me handle this. Officer, this Krogan is part of a secret Spectre task force, Operation Fire Cobra Claw.
Operation Fire Cobra Claw?
That's right, I can take it from here. Send me the bill for any damages.
That's what you've been signing for, Commander. You're lucky, Krogan. Don't let me catch you up here again.
You won't. Thank you, officer. So, how were those noodles?
A little spicy.
I love you, Grunt.
Right, and with that business taken care of, we can now continue right away with our meeting with Jacob, who we can wait for just a few meters down the strip in front of the castle arcade, so it looks like we're in for another round of fun and games.
Hey, Shepard, over here. Thanks for coming by, good to see you. What's up?
Out for a little R&R. You?
Exactly, same thing.
Hey, Jacob, I'm out of credits.
Who are they?
Their parents are MIA, volunteered to take them on for the weekend, get their minds off things. What about us, Shepard? There's got to be a game of skill in there with our names on it.
And with Jacob challenging our competitive side, I think there is no need to hold back. Let's jump directly to the trash talking, and let us hope that we can back it up once we get inside.
Bring it on, Taylor. Let's see what you've got. This is your game of skill?
Now, Shepard, I'll try not to embarrass you.
Really? Trash talk? At Shattered Eezo?
Hell yeah, my pride is on the line. Also, these kids look up to me, so I have to take you down.
You're gonna take me down? I don't think so.
Well, step up, Shepard. Although it might be tough not having your squad to carry you.
You're on.
No pressure, Shepard. These people already idolize you. So when you choke, it won't matter.
You're crowding me.
Am I? My bad. Stand back, everyone. Shepard needs extra room to make the magic happen.
Ready? Let's do this.
Glad none of your friends are here to see your humiliation.
Alright, we're playing Shattered Eezo, a very simple robot fighting game. The basic strategy here, just block when the opponent is punching and punch when they are not blocking.
Come on, come on, come on!
Also, during these wind-up attacks here, your punches deal extra damage.
Crying yet, Jacob?
So basically, you want to maintain a defensive position until your opponent winds up, and then unleash heavy damage with just a few punches.
The pain you feel is me kicking your ass.
Nice.
Nice one.
Okay.
Yeah! Commander Shepard wins!
Alright, that was nice and easy, but let's not get overly cocky. I think Jacob just had enough humiliation as it is.
And that's how it's done, kids.
You couldn't just let me win, just once? Come on, Shepard, let's grab some food. I'm buying.
Alright, and presumably after the two of them have had some food, let us now head back into the arcade.
Welcome to Castle Arcade.
Because we are definitely not done with Shattered Eezo just yet. Just like the claw machine last episode, we can actually play this game by ourselves too, and looking at the leaderboard here, we have one hell of a task in front of us. For the sake of true completion, we desperately need to take that top spot from Arya, and that requires us to beat the high score of 1024 points, so let's get punching. Now, I just explained the basic strategy a few moments ago, and we'll have to speed this up massively, otherwise you'll be sitting here for the next 8 to 10 minutes or so, but the basic principle is still very much the same as it was in our fight with Jacob. Basically, we always want to have our guard up and only attack our enemy when they wind up for a power attack, at which point we usually have time to get 3 or 4 quick punches in, before we then need to block again to deflect the enemy's blow. Every punch that hits not only damages the enemy mech, but also earns us points, and with this strategy you should be able to earn about 100 per round. And yes, there are multiple rounds. In fact, you can keep fighting as long as your mech is standing, which with this strategy should be for quite some time. After each round you recover some but not all of your lost health, so avoid taking unnecessary damage early, it could make the later fights more difficult. Speaking of which, the enemies do of course increase in difficulty the further you progress, although difficulty in this case is of course a bit subjective. In my experience, the enemies in the later fights only use their power attacks more frequently, which, if we apply our strategy here, actually makes those fights easier, as we can rack up damage and points even more quickly. So all in all, you can definitely milk this approach for way more than the high score you need, but I really don't think that will be necessary. Still, there is actually a valid completionist reason for beating the high score other than to just claim the top spot on the board, as whoever beats it receives a weapon upgrade that cannot be obtained in any other way. And of course, we do want to complete our collection, so that's why we're playing. Eventually then, you can see it here, we have cracked the 1000 point mark, so while we're at it, let us finish off this enemy too, but we will let ourselves get knocked out by the next one. Like I said, there is no need to drag this out any longer than necessary.
Congratulations, that's a new high score!
Alright, and there you can see it in the bottom right corner, we have obtained the Assault Rifle Thermal Scope Mark IV. We have also claimed the leaderboard's top score, which actually also includes the Shifty Cow, a callback to a mysterious creature from Mass Effect 1. I'll leave a link to an episode on screen in case you want to find out more. Now, depending on how keen you are on more card games, I have good or bad news, because up next we are now aiming for the high score in relay defense. 867 points are the score to beat, the record held by Mouse, a name you might recall from Mass Effect 2, where he was used as an informant by none other than Thane Krios. Now, I have to warn you, trying to beat this record can be an absolute nightmare. Grabbing all the orange orbs in the claw machine or getting the high score in Shattered Eezo, all of those are fairly easy if you know what you're doing. This game, meanwhile, is definitely a lot more tricky, and you will most definitely need some practice if you want to beat that score. Still, the basic principle is rather easy. We play as the Earth on the right side, and with our rockets we want to shoot at the enemy ships before they can shoot at us. Arriving ships are briefly marked by what I assume to be blue Mass Effect fields, then they pop in and a few seconds later they will shoot. The further along we progress, the tighter all of those timings will become, with enemy ships arriving and shooting at us quicker and quicker. Now, for each ship you destroy you earn points, but you have to be careful. At the bottom of the screen you can see that you only have a limited number of rockets, a maximum of 3 to be exact, although they replenish after a few seconds. So you definitely do not want to be wasteful with your ammunition and fire it on an empty space on the board, otherwise you might not have a rocket left to fire at the next incoming ship. Now, so far so good, that is the defensive part of the game. However, you will most likely only be able to beat the high score if you also master the other half. That other half is to send out small civilian transports of your own towards the relay, where they will earn you points if they arrive safely. If they meet an enemy ship along the way, they will crash and explode, earning you no points, and also resetting your score multiplier in the top left corner. Every time a ship of yours successfully reaches the relay, that multiplier increases up to a maximum of ×4, which is essentially what you want to maintain throughout most of the game, as it multiplies the points you get for destroying enemy ships. Without the multiplier, small ones earn you 1 point, larger ones earn you 2. With the multiplier, that obviously increases to 4 and 8 respectively, while having a ship successfully reach the relay earns you 10 points. So you can probably see that if you want to reach almost 900 points, that getting those in steps of 1s and 2s will most likely not be enough. At least that is the theory of it. In practice the whole thing becomes much harder. I think it took me about 1 hour of practice to even reliably break the 600 point mark, and even now I do not feel confident that I will be able to repeatedly break this record. This is, by the way, also one of those games where the early game is extremely important. That is when the game is least hectic and you should be able to send out ships most reliably, which not only helps you to raise that modifier quickly, but can also earn you a lot of points towards your total very quickly. In the later stages, meanwhile, when enemies come in faster and faster, things quickly devolve into total chaos, and it will be difficult enough as it is to keep destroying all of those ships, not to mention finding safe passageways for your own. And yes, I do realize that I just spent 3 minutes talking about some stupid DLC minigame. I guess that too is part of the completionist experience. One last tactical note then perhaps, in case you do run out of rockets, you can also just send out your civilian ships to intercept the enemy. Those of course also have a short cooldown of a few seconds and cannot be spammed infinitely, but if a civilian and an enemy ship collide, both of them will explode, so this is a good emergency option, albeit at the cost of a total modifier reset. And with that, we are already nearing the end. As you can see, our Earth has taken some hits. The small ships deal less, the larger ships deal more damage, but we have successfully surpassed the 800 point mark. Let's see where we eventually land.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Congratulations. That's a new high score.
Alright, yes indeed, we just beat the high score by 1 single point. I can't actually tell you how many attempts it took me to get here, but another otherwise unobtainable weapon upgrade is in our hands and we are one step closer to full completion.
Stay out of trouble.
Now at this point we have technically exhausted all the scheduled meetings out here on the strip. However, just like at the end of the last episode, there is another one not talked about in any message beforehand, and once again it takes place at the upstairs bar of the Silver Coast Casino, only this time it's not with Joker, but instead with Wrex.
Wrex? What are you doing here?
Escaping. Ever since we cured the genophage, it's been nothing but work.
Council been riding you?
Ah! Not those project shit slingers. No, it's the female shepherd. Now that they're fertile again. Oh, I haven't slept in I don't know how long.
Can I get you two anything?
2 more drinks. And another bag of ice.
I would have thought you'd be enjoying the perks of Krogan fertility.
Enjoying it? There's a line of females outside my dwelling right now. Stretches on for as far as you can see. I had to sneak out my own bathroom window. Even then, I was cornered by 2 more females on the ride from Tuchanka.
And it's just you? They're not spreading the love around?
Sure, but everyone wants their firstborn in generations to be strong and fit. I'm the leader of Clan Erdnot. I brought an end to the genophage. Everyone on Tuchanka wants a piece of me. And Bakara's no help at all. She encourages it. I'm telling you, Shepard, I'm in no shape to fight Reapers.
Right, so Wrex seems to have his own fair share of private problems, and because I don't think that he will find much relief in us telling him it could be worse, let us instead remind him who the leader of the Krogan actually is.
Aren't you in charge? You could at least hold off until after the war.
You've never been stalked by a fertile Krogan female, Shepard. There is no holding off, just holding.
Here are your drinks. And a bag of ice.
And I thought Morden's procedure was painful. Oh well. Shit, Shepard. We sure have been through it, haven't we?
Still going through it.
True. Well, here's to us. And to going through it.
I'll drink to that.
Corball! It means victory or death, roughly.
Ah, but you can't die, Wrex. You've got a family now. A really big family.
Ah! More ice!
Alright, and with Wrex continuing to cool himself off, we now head back to the apartment. We do have one last batch of messages to get to, and then we are finally done with all of the crew member activities in this DLC. Interestingly enough, the completion of those last few crew meetings will only take us about 15 minutes or so. However, even after that, the DLC is far from completed.
You have received a new message.
But I think we'll talk a bit more about that at the end of the episode. For the time being, we have made it back to the apartment, so let's check our messages and see who wants to meet up next. For now, we are once again contacted by Miranda, although this time she wants to head out. We also receive our second message from Steve Cortez, who invites both himself as well as James over to watch a game of Biotiball. We also receive our second message from Jack, who after having some fun in the combat simulator last time now wants to come over too. And finally we have a second message from Traynor as well, and just like the people before, after our strip meeting she now wants to come over. We will begin things, however, with Jack in a meeting that will be short and sweet, offering just a bit more insight into how Jack's character has been developing.
So what? A private cabin on a stealth warship isn't enough for you?
I'm watching the place for a friend. What are you doing?
Calling Eezo.
Eezo?
Yeah, he's from Thessia. Naturally biotic from all the element zero. The biotics make them short-tempered, so a lot of them get abused or abandoned. Can you imagine someone doing that? I found him at a rescue place. I'm trying to teach him that it's okay to trust people. He started out really angry, but I've been giving him lots of love, and now he's a big old softie. What?
And yes, indeed, there seem to be some similarities between Jack and her Varren here, and since Jack has always been one to appreciate being called out, let's do so again this time around.
You're aware of the parallels here, right?
What the hell are you talking about, Shepard?
Mistreated biotic that... No? Never mind. Forget I said anything.
Yeah. Who's my badass biotic? Who's my badass biotic?
Alright, like I said, nice and sweet, that was it already. Time for the next one, and I think this time we'll go with Traynor. Last time out, we wanted to meet her for dinner, but instead got caught up in a heated game of Kapeshiakshi, so maybe today things will be a bit more relaxed.
You sure you want to leave that here?
I can't very well bring it back to the Normandy. I'd have nowhere to put it. This place is amazing. Puts the prefabs back on Horizon to shame. And it has a hot tub.
Go ahead.
Cheers! Oh, this is lovely. And good for the sinuses. I might not even need my antihistamine tonight.
Your what?
It's a pill. I'm allergic to dust and cats and public speaking. I take a proton pump inhibitor for my stomach too, and an inhaler for asthma.
And no, I don't think it would be appropriate to mock her for all of her ailments. After all, it's hardly her fault. So instead, after learning all of this, let's inquire if there's anything she needs.
You have everything you need to stay healthy?
Just about. The only medication I can't find is sucrocapsinol. My family doctor prescribed it for my headaches.
Sucrocapsinol? That's a sugar pill, Traynor. A placebo.
Oh, that sneaky bastard. And now that you've told me, it probably wouldn't work anyway. There was some scented bath oil out there somewhere. Could you grab it?
Yeah. Here you go.
Thanks. Eyes are over here and up here. Hey, do you have a loofah?
A loofah. This is Anderson's apartment, remember? I highly doubt he has a...
Found one. Somebody left an overnight bag with toiletries and massage oils and, you know, girly stuff. Do you know who Kay Sanders is? She has great taste in adjustable massage ones.
Right, and after that, I think it's time to hang out with the boys some more. Nothing like watching a good game of Biotiball to take our mind off of whatever that was, so let's invite Cortez and James next, and then we'll head back out again.
Sorry we're late. Somebody forgot to pick up the cerveza.
Come on in.
That somebody was you.
Didn't say it wasn't. So when's the game?
It's about to start.
Seattle Sorcerers versus Usaru Maestros. Gonna be some intense Biotiball.
Nah, it's just a goodwill game for troop morale. They'll take it easy.
And let's not bring the mood down by assuming that they won't be able to focus. Of course, that might very well be the case, but we are on shore leave after all to forget about the war for a moment and not to continuously remind people of it.
In the middle of a war with their troops watching, they'll give it their all.
Absolutely. Have you guys seen Derek Rogers' game lately? Man, he and the Sorcerers have been tearing it up.
Esteban, the Maestros don't lose. Have you seen Tyra Tiziana's play? The woman is blue lightning.
Mr. Vega, your love of the Asari team has more to do with how they look than how they play.
Hey, that's not true. Not entirely. Besides, you telling me you don't got the hots for some of the Sorcerers?
Okay. Guilty as charged. Who you backing, Shepard?
I'm not sure. What do you guys think?
The Seattle Sorcerers are one of the few human b-ball teams left. I mean, they were on tour when Earth was hit. Since acquiring Donna Novotny from the hackers, they've been completely unstoppable.
Yeah, but most of the Maestros have been playing since before first contact. They'll win this.
I know the Sorcerers have never beaten the Maestros, but they've never been this hungry either. So Shep, who's it gonna be?
Right, so normally it would be pretty difficult to bet against the team that has never lost the matchup, but I think at least in sports we can be pro-human, so let's pick the Sorcerers. After all, Cortez seems to be convinced.
You don't bet against the home team.
Mr. Vega, I hope you're hungry for humble pie. When has our commander ever been wrong?
Come on, man, the game's starting. Mierda, he was out! You're blind, ref!
And it's good. Sorcerers 68, Maestros 66. Seattle Sorcerers win.
Yes, they did it! Now pay up.
Hey, why didn't you let me in on the betting?
We weren't exactly betting on who'd win.
We were betting on if you'd pick the winner. And everyone knows you don't bet against Shepard.
Anyway, it was a hell of a game.
Yeah, great evening. Thank you, Shepard.
My pleasure.
Tomorrow comes early. Hasta luego.
And there we are. Looks like we bet on the winning team after all. Now, just like James said, tomorrow comes early, but before we turn in, we have one more squad member meeting to attend. Last time we met with Miranda for drinks at the apartment. This time though, she has suggested a night out on the strip, and so we are now heading out to meet her at the Silversun casino. And this will then in fact be our second to last squad member interaction of this episode. Like I said, we're leaving Tali for last, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Miranda?
You clean up well, Shepard. Thought we might try an evening out.
Sounds like you have some time to catch your breath.
I do, just not used to it. Feeling a bit lost. It's kind of sad, really. I got to thinking we needed a break. No point saving the galaxy if we can't enjoy it once in a while.
And once again, both dialogue options here would be very fitting. Overall though, considering that Miranda is usually always so focused on her work, it is indeed a bit surprising.
I have to say I'm a bit surprised.
I thought you might be. I can be, severe.
You're focused. Believe me, I understand.
I was thinking about our talk earlier, about having a normal life. Damn, I'm not very good at this. Truth is, Shepard, I'm not very good at being normal either. Bit of a disaster, really.
I get it. We just need a little practice.
Any ideas?
And no, we're not just going to tell her to lighten up, that might prove to be difficult, although we are in just the right place to practice, so maybe that's how we can get started.
Look around you. It's a room full of great ideas.
Here? It's nothing but alcohol, gambling, and wasting time. Right. Need more wine.
Bring the lady more wine.
Oh god. I'm gonna regret this.
We're just friends out on the town. What's the worst that can happen? Come on, partner. Let's start some trouble.
Alright, and with that we have now successfully completed our last squad member meeting out here on the strip. There is only one more person left to talk to, and we will meet her back at the apartment, so that is where we are now heading to wrap up the evening with Tali. Now, originally I also had planned to complete Armax Arsenal Arena in this episode, and I have actually also recorded most of the footage for that already. However, I fear that even after editing it's going to be at least another hour or so, and for a single video I think that would just be a bit too much. I am already very thankful that you watch these 50 to 60 minute episodes. I don't think there is any need to test your patience even further. So that means Armax Arsenal Arena and the completion of a few related achievements, all of that will happen next time. For now, let's invite Tali up to the apartment and end the episode with our love interest.
Hey, got any plans for the evening?
No. I'm as free as the dust in the solar wind. You remember that line? From Fleet and Flotilla? Shalai and Bellicus on the balcony.
I don't think I've ever seen that. Did.
What? You've never? How could you not have? Well, I know what we're doing tonight.
But Shalai, we can never be together. I have my duty, and you have your people.
Not tonight. Tonight, I'm as free as the dust in the solar wind.
You watch this a lot? With the lovers from two different worlds?
Every time my friends and I had a sleepover, we memorized the lyrics from the musical. Oh, we can activate sing-along mode. Let the moon shining light unto lovers with its rays. Though I know that dawn will set us on course for separate ways, I will hold this night in memory for all my living days. Now unmasked, I feel your skin on mine.
And honestly, the comedic potential of a dry "so you like aliens" is definitely not lost on me, but I do believe that it does not do this scene justice. So let's instead tell Tali how cute she is, and this is indeed one of the more memorable scenes in my opinion, at least if Tali is your love interest.
I had no idea you were so into this.
This vid FTL jumped me into puberty. And who doesn't love a good cross-species romance?
I want you to see behind this mask. I want you to see who I truly am.
I already have.
Works for me.
Alright, and there we are. After roughly 45 minutes we will make the cut today. We have now completed pretty much everything the Citadel DLC has to offer, that is except for two things. Number one is the aforementioned Armax Arsenal Arena, and number two is obviously the party that we are still waiting to host, and both of those things will most likely fill another episode, so now you know what you can expect for the next 2 weeks. At this point, apologies to all those of you who would like to see us make some actual progress in the game's main storyline. I promise that will also happen very soon. I had honestly underestimated the sheer scope of this DLC, especially if you want to thoroughly complete it. With that being said, I still hope you appreciate the effort and enjoyed the episode, and if you did, then I would be very happy if you could leave a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing and want to support me and my channel further, then you can go ahead and subscribe to stay up to date, grab some merch over on shop.petecomplete.com, or check out and maybe even pledge to the Pete Complete Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.